Hello guys, and welcome to today's video where we're going through the Cosmic Champs, top 10 Cosmic Champs in their class. We did one of these in December. You would have seen the video yesterday where I sort of explained it all. Done it in December. It's now been 3 or 4 months. To see if there's any change, I'm doing one now. So if you guys are enjoying this, please leave a like. Please leave a comment on what your top 10 Cosmic Champs would be or who you disagree with. And yeah, let's basically jump straight into the video. So as I said in the last one, there'll be a list of where the December 2022 top 10 Cosmic class was. What that list was will be in my Discord compared to what the list is now. And there's been a few changes, a few ups and downs. I think there might be a little bit of a disagreement with some of the placings in here. But if there is, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to have a nice discussion with you guys. Obviously, this is just my opinion. So if you disagree, that's completely fine. And yeah, let's jump into the video. So at number 10, I've gone with a champ I always flip between the two. In our December video, it was King Groot at 10. At number 10 in this video is Arcus. I think King Groot is great. Survivability is really useful, but with a lot of champs now being cosmic, a lot of champs who are cosmic, especially in the top 5, 6, 7, needing sort of Sig 200 or high Sigs, King Groot's investment, making him Sig 200, awakening him, and getting ranked up isn't just quite as worth it as maybe it used to be, and it's why I put Arcus in front. I think Arcus can be really important in battlegrounds as both an attacker and a defender. You know, against robots, he pauses. Basically, they can't gain any power while their armor is shattered, which I think is a really useful ability, especially in battlegrounds. The cold snap that he gets from armor breaks makes him a really strong defender. The fact that his Sig ability isn't essential is good. But, you know, 30% chance to purify one of the damaging debuffs is good, but it's not essential. So it means you can basically use him right off the cuff, which I really enjoy because it means you don't have to have that investment into these 10, 9, 8, 7 champs. You can invest in your Nulls and your Galans and Hercules to Sig 200. You don't have to sort of save... You don't have to waste, or not waste, but don't have to invest so much into the champs who maybe aren't the most powerful in their class. So which is why I really like Arcus. I think he's a great defender. I think he's a really good attacker. And the fact that he puts that cold snap on, and not many champs are either armor break immune or cold snap immune, makes it just makes it very useful to have him as a defender, because he's always going to do some damage. So if you know you're going to go into a battlegrounds fight and you're going to do... you're not going to lose too much, this makes Arcus very, very useful. So Arcus is my number 10, taken over King Groot from our last video. And at number 9 is a champ I've not got, a champ who probably used to be the best champ in the game. He is an absolute questing god, and is Corvus Glaive. Corvus comes in at 9 because I still think he's an amazing champ. I still think he's really good at questing. I think the damage he can do on his SP2 when he's got his persistent cruelties built up, that amount of damage is very, very good. It's very good. However, it's not so amazing for battlegrounds. He's not a great defender. And I think he's maybe, with these newer Cosmic Champs all being so good, you know, the top sort of 7 in this list, or top 8 really, you could have one of those top 8 as your number 1, and there wouldn't be too much argument about them being there. Obviously, Hercules is number 1, but I mean, you could have my number 8, which, spoiler alert, is Gorr. You could say he's your second best champ. And people would say, oh, what about Galan, Hulkling, CGR? But they wouldn't be angry about it, or be very... they'd be understanding of why he could be there. And I think that's why the Cosmic class is by far the strongest class in this game. And I think Corvus just doesn't quite meet these other champs above him in the top 8. And, you know, he still has the immortality, which can be quite useful, but isn't as strong as Hercules, obviously. The fact that he's got that big SP2 is very good. But questing, he's very, very strong. Don't get me wrong. If you're a Cavalier or uncollected and you've just got him, do bring him in, because he can be useful. But he's maybe not what he used to be in quests, and is why he ends up at number 9. So obviously At number 8, you guys know who I've got. I've got Gorr. For me, Gorr is a great champ. He is a champ who is tricky. He doesn't really excel in short fights. He doesn't necessarily do Abyss Everest content, but it's those sort of longer fights, the fights that you would have in Act 7 and Act 8, where you build him up, put in lots of damage and debuffs on the opponent, throw that heavy attack, do an absolute god bomb from your SP3, a ton of damage, and yeah, that's what he sort of excels in. Since his buff, this is obviously post-buff Gorr, he's gone down a position since his buff, I believe. I can't remember if December was before his buff or after. I think Gorr's buff actually came out before the December list, so he has gone down one, but that's just because of one champ who I've sort of realised a lot more is very, very good as a defender and attacker, who we'll get onto later. But that's also what Gorr's good at, you know. He's a good defender, very good defender. He's a very good attacker if you learn how to play him correctly. And yeah, I think Gorr is a champ I very much enjoy. He's one of the coolest champs in the game, I think. I love his I sort of love his look, the way he's played. His SP2 animations are so cool, same with the SP1. So yeah, Gorr makes it in at number 8 for me. And at number 7, we move down to another champ I've got as a rank 2. And that's Hyperion. So Hyperion in the previous list was 6, and there was a lot of chatter that he could be 5. For me, I just disagree. I think Hyperion is good, he's great, but he's not as good as Null, CGR, Hulkling. He's not in that top 5. And personally, number 6 is also in that list. You know, it's a tied top 5 in my opinion. So Hyperion comes in at 7. He's great as an attacker. Now there's more neutralized champs and fate seals. If you take in a mystic, his power gain isn't too tricky to deal with. So he can be a good defender if the good counter's not there, especially in quests. If you don't want to take in just, you know, you have to think about the Hyperion counter that you're going to use. But as an attacker, those Furies are good. The parry heavies are very good. But the fact that it's very RNG based does make it a little bit more annoying. You want a champ who is a bit more you know what you're going to get. With Gorr, you know what you're going to get. With number 6, the champ in 6, don't want to spoil it, you know what you're going to get. And even with Apocalypse, you know, it's RNG based, but it's such a good, it does so much damage, whereas an extra 2 Furies doesn't do that much damage, but can be annoying if you don't get them. So it's why Hyperion comes in at number 7, sorry. But don't get me wrong, still an amazing champ, but just I think 6 cuts it, or just edges it over him. At 6, we have Sersi. So Sersi, I think, is a champ who's a little bit she might be a bit underrated. You know, I think not enough people use her. I think as a defender, she's so strong unless you literally have sort of Rintra or Tigra or those easy, accessible, neutralize fate seals. The transmutation buff is really annoying. That basically you constantly give her regeneration every time you hit her if she's got her sigged up. The glances cause for regens. The unblockable and incinerate she gets from her SP1 and SP2 are quite difficult to evade. You don't see her so much on quests, so that when you do come against her, she is someone who you're not so used to, which I think is why she's so strong. She has a lot in her kit. Like I said, the transmutation buff, the glancing, some pretty useful synergies with Icarus and Hercules and even Gorr make her such a strong champ. I think Karate Mike uses her a lot for questing. That sort of shows you, you know, when you've got every champ in the game and you're picking Sersi, it shows how good she is as a quester. And she's such a strong defender, up there as top 10 for sure. And I think she's a really, really good champ. I think she goes a little bit under the radar. I do think she just outdoes Hyperion because she's one of these specific niche champs, whereas Hyperion is not so much. The regen is really good, can be really, really useful. And having annoying SP1s and SP2s are just is very useful for Battlegrounds. It does make her difficult to defend against. And if you see her, Normally you hope that she's not put down unless you've got yourself a Rintra, and I think that's why she's so good. You know, the fact that she is really underrated on the attacking side means hopefully more of you guys will use her after this video and you see it. I've used her a little bit even just as a 5-star, and I think she's really good. So yeah, she comes in at 6. I think she does just outdo Hyperion just a little bit, and yeah, so that's why she's at 6. At 5, we've got Null. The top 5 remains the same just because there's not been any new cosmic champs who have really set the world alight. I don't actually think there's been any new ones since Galan and Gorr. So, yeah, Null comes in at 5. I think, again, if I could sig to... Obviously, now I've got Hercules. Null is a little bit by the wayside. You know, for me, I've got the top 2 cosmic champs in the game. Or, you know, Null is obviously there as the 5th best, in my opinion. But if I could Sig 200 him, I think he'd be so much better. Even just the Sig ability is very useful when you put him as a defender, because every time a corruption begins, he gets unstoppable and unblockable, meaning if you catch somebody off guard, then Null can do quite a big bit of damage. Even through the block, his SP1 is very annoying. The reverse controls, and that's all just as a defender. As an attacker, he's so strong. The armor break, the build up of corruptions, if you get him Sig 200 or even just Sig 100, he can then put about, what's 100 by 13? It's probably about 6 or 7 living debuffs straight from the off, meaning if it makes your build up a little bit faster, gets that SP3, and you'll have about 25-30, meaning he can just do a ton of damage while that corruption is up. And I just think he's a really, really good champ. The fact that he's a good defender and attacker means he's really nice to have. And the similar ability to Heimdall, but this only has symbiotes in it. But still, Venom is a very good champ. He very, very almost made the top 10. And I think yeah, Null comes in at 5 with a champ I don't have at 4. CGR is my 4th champ. I think CGR, he's not overrated, don't get me wrong. I think CGR is an amazing champ. He absolutely nukes. But I think people expect CGR to sort of, you know, Slayer is one of the best CGR players, or he's probably the best CGR. He knows the most about them, when to use CGR. But I do think that the 3 above, Hercules obviously is the best champ in the whole game. He just is by a mile. You saw that in EOP acceptance. Galan, for short fights, is the god. And Hulkling is very close to Galan. So I think CGR just ends up at 4. I think if he was in any other class, he'd be 1 or 2. But just this class is so strong that he falls at 4. The Bleeding Incinerate immunity is massive. I now know how to dex his SP1s and SP2s, which shows that if you fight him a lot, you start to begin to sort of realise how to fight him. So as a defender, he's really not that hard at all. He's not really a worry anymore. As an attacker, he does absolutely nuke champs, and his SP2 can do so much damage. I think for questing, he is very, very good. Don't get me wrong with the Bleeding Incinerates, especially with Suicides on, that just sort of influences his damage massively, increases it massively, and just makes him an extra god. I think CGR is amazing. I just think some people maybe think he is number 1 or number 2 in this list, where for me, he's just not. I think Galan by far Galan is quicker than him in short fights. In long fights, Galan can build up a little bit faster, and the fact that maybe I've not got CGR yet, so I don't know how good he is by playing with him. Maybe that's why he falls a little bit by the wayside for me. But he comes in at 4, but is a very respectable 4. These 4 champs are in a league of their own, with Null just behind, and then Null and Sersi just behind, and then a big gap between 7 8. So at 3, we've got Hulkling. Hulkling, another champ who I really, really want. A champ who, if I can find him, where is he? H, there we go. Hulkling has those really nice immunities. The poisons and shock is really nice, but then he has the he also has the power drain, steal, and burn, and he reduces heal block by quite a lot. Gaining a shapeshift charge every time an immunity is caused is amazing. The damage that he can do, the fact that he can easily go unblockable, pierces, make him the best Ant-Man Future counter, which I think Ant-Man Future is going to be one of those champs who becomes one of the top sort of, by far top 5 champs in the game. So Hulkling being a clear and obvious counter to that champ is really useful. The fact that he can take out Penny very easily with the unblockable, and gaining those shapeshift charges from power drain and burn does make Hulkling amazing. I think him and Galan are very similar but different, if that makes sense. They're very similar. They have quite a few of the same immunities. They are champs who can absolutely nuke, but I think you play them very differently, and I really want to get Hulkling to sort of practice with him a bit more, understand him a bit more, and then remake this video to see if he does quite pip Galan to the post. But unfortunately Galan is my number 2 because I've got him awakened. I have he'll probably be I think Quicksilver will be my next rank 4, and then Kitty Pryde, or Kitty Pryde then Quicksilver, but Galan will probably be my next Cosmic rank 4. I really enjoy him. I think in Battlegrounds he's an instant win, especially if you're used to and good at playing him. In like Act 7 and Act 8, he's still very usable. The fact that you can take out 100k damage like that is just can be really useful for taking down hard bosses. He's a great Penny counter who is one of the more challenging defenders in the game. As a defender himself, he is very he's very, very difficult to fight against. You do need a Tigra or a Rincher, or to sort of cheese him with a Kitty Pryde to avoid that harvest, making him quite difficult there. And then he's got the very similar ability to Apocalypse with the Heralds. I think if you can make a Herald, that means you instantly make Hercules twice as good, which is so useful. Champs like Hulkling become even better. Null, CGR himself, Sersi, they're all just becoming absolute gods, even better than they already are with Galan on the team. And I just think that's why he edges it for over Hulkling for me. The fact that he's the best Battlegrounds attacker in almost any meta. He is a herald. He is able to make heralds, and also that he is able to be used in those longer fights just by doing something a little bit different with his playstyle. So Galan comes in at 2, strong defender, strong attacker, and at 1, obviously, it's Hercules. You guys know how good Hercules is. I don't need to speak too much about him. The Sig ability just makes him out of this world. Sig 200, and he's immortal for ages. The feats of strength, like everything that's good about a champ, Hercules basically has. He's immune to poisons, like with Null's or he's not immune to poisons, but he's very resistant to poisons and bleeds. That's really good when put as a herald as well. The fact that he can basically have like 30% resistance to both bleed and poison is very useful as a herald. The infuriates to make them more aggressive means you can intercept easier, building up those feats of strength, doing an absolute ton of damage. Sort of after you've hit the SP2, doing loads of damage, indestructible from SP3. I just think Hercules is by far the best champ in this game. He has everything in his kit, and we probably won't see him as a 7-star anytime soon, if ever, which is why you know he's such a great champ. So that's the Cosmic class. The comparison between December and April will be in the Discord in the description below. Join that if you're new. Leave a like and also comment what you disagree with and what you agree with from this list. And yeah, we'll sort of revisit these in a couple months' time. Hopefully there'll be some new Cosmic champs out. Adam Warlock will probably be a Cosmic champ. I wonder if he'll make the top 5. It's probably very likely, but I'm very interested to see what he's like. And yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like, comment down below how your list differs to mine, what you disagree with, and we'll have a nice friendly conversation about it. So thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next top 10 video, which is going to be skill. And check out yesterday's mutant if you haven't seen it already. See you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.